So, this morning, President Trump addressed the nation concerning yesterday's horrific attack at Majory Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, Florida. 17 people were killed, including some teachers and students. Kid used an AR-15 rifle, the same one that's been used in almost every single attack, mass shooting in schools. But CNN went out there the next day, so today, and they interviewed two students. One was a freshman. Her name is Kelsey Friend, and the other, David Hogg, is a senior. And let's see what they have to say about this whole thing.
My geography teacher unlocked the door, and I had ran in thinking he was behind me, but he was not.
What happened to your teacher?
He unfortunately passed away in the doorway of our classroom.
Did you see him get shot?
I did not. I heard the gunshots, and I've heard the shooter walk down the hallway shooting more kids. I've heard a young man crying for his mother dying. And it was just hard because you don't imagine this happening to you. You see it on the news, you see it everywhere, and you don't think this is not good. You think it's not going to happen to you, but until it happens, you're just like, this is terrible. Until I saw my teacher dead on the floor. I believe that my teacher, the reason why he was laying in the doorway was because he protected us. And so the shooter must probably thought like there's no kids in there because he was the classroom was empty. It looked empty. So I believe that the shooter didn't think there was any students in there, but there was probably like 15 to 20 kids in there with me. The SWAT team actually came and got us and said it was all okay. Once we were escorted out of the classroom, I did see Mr. Beagle's body on the corner of my eyes near the stairwell, and I did see blood, and I saw two students, unfortunately, curled up in balls. Going down the stairs, I saw more blood, backpacks thrown everywhere. It was like a movie scene.
Sadly, my sister, she's a freshman, and she had two of her best friends die. And that's not acceptable. That is something that we should not let happen in this country, especially when we're going to school. It's something that we really need to take a look at. The fact that this is the 18th school shooting, and this is only February, is a testament to where this country has come and how far we need to dig out of this hole. We need to step out of it and take a look back and realize there's something seriously wrong here. And some of our policymakers and some people need to look in the mirror and take some action, because ideas are great, but without action, ideas stay ideas and children die.
Do you have a message for the lawmakers? Do you have a message for Congress, for the president?
Yeah. My message to lawmakers in Congress is please take action. Ideas are great. Ideas are wonderful, and they help you get reelected and everything. But what's more important is actual action and pertinent action that results in saving thousands of children's lives. Please take action.
Do you have a sense of what kind of action that would be?
Any action at this point, instead of just complete stagnancy and blaming the other side of the political aisle, would be a step in the right direction. And working together to save these children's lives is what this country needs.
What's your message?
And people are going to keep saying, oh, this is just another shooting. It's never going to happen to me. But what happens is when you don't take action, things like this eventually will happen to you. And that's not acceptable. And that's why I call on people to stand up, talk to their congressmen, talk to people, and don't stop fighting, because children will continue to die if we don't take a stand now.
Kelsey, can you tell us about Mr. Beagle, your geography teacher?
Mr. Beagle was my hero, and he still will forever be my hero. I will never forget the actions that he took for me and for fellow students in the classroom. And if his family is watching this, please know that your son or your brother was an amazing person, and I am alive today because of him. Thank you for bringing and having this amazing person in life and giving him the power to be stronger than I could have ever been. He will be missed by me and multiple friends. His name with me will live on, and I'll make sure of it. Insane man.
Are you going to be able to go back into this building behind us?
Yes. I'm not going to let this person stop me. That's what they want to do. They want to scare us. They want to make us feel unsafe. And I say no. I take a stance on in my own personal way to say that's not okay. I don't feel afraid. I'm going to continue learning so I can prevent this from happening again. And that's what you guys as journalists are doing as well. And the fact that you're reporting on this says so much. But what we really need is action. Because we can say, yes, we're going to do all these things, thoughts and prayers. What we need more than that is action. Please, this is the 18th one this year. That's unacceptable. We're children. You guys are the adults. You need to take some action and play a role. Work together, come over your politics, and get something done.
So that was absolutely heartbreaking to watch. I have to give my hats off to David Hogg. You are absolutely right, man, and thank you for speaking up and being an intelligent, young person who understands that this can't continue. And we needed somebody, a kid, to say what's going on with our politicians. What's going on when over 90% of Americans believe in some kind of background check improvement over what we have now, when a majority of people are in favor of just banning assault-styled rifles. It's getting to the point where if we don't do anything, like he said, this is just going to continue. 18 school shootings in 45 days. That is not what should be happening in the United States of America, but unfortunately, that's our reality. Thanks to the NRA, thanks to Congress, there's so many factors that go into this. And man, that David's sister knew 2 people that died. I cannot imagine losing 2 friends in such a violent, cruel, vicious way. And know that something could have been done about this. This kid, I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve it, any notoriety at all, but he had a YouTube presence. People knew he was obsessed with guns. I saw an interview where somebody said he always had guns on him. He was expelled from that school. Obviously, he had some problems going on in his life at the time because his mother had just died and another sympathetic family had taken him in. The father had asked, why he wouldn't want to get out of bed. He said, I don't go to school on Valentine's Day, assuming that was, he was just going to leave it at that. Now, this kid, he was 19, so he was going to another, GED school, so he wasn't going to this one, but he took an Uber cab there and got out, started shooting outside, entered the building, continued firing, and we heard stories of the heroic actions of a janitor. I had to cut it out of this for time's sake, but a janitor actually told students to stop running in the direction towards the shooter. There were teachers that literally laid down their lives for their students. There were the, law enforcement officers who I'm sure did everything they could. And, unfortunately, there's not much you can do in a situation like that because you have to understand that their lives are at stake as well. And this is just not a good place to be. Like that girl said, thank goodness that they've had drills. They hadn't actually held theirs yet, but at least knowing what to do in a situation like that could definitely save lives. Now this guy pulled the fire alarm. He obviously had thought this through. I wouldn't be surprised if they found some sort of manifesto, especially because this was tied in to Columbine, like all these other motherfuckers who decide to take the lives of innocent kids. Columbine, of course, being the first real school shooting that captured the imagination of American psychopaths all across the youthful generations. And, Dylan Harris and Eric Klebold, they did something. I don't know what it is, but they created this odd counterculture of people who feel disillusioned with their school, feel disillusioned with their life is in general. They have no friends, they have no social life, they have nothing to do, maybe abuse at home. Mental illness is almost always a factor. But to say that mental illness is the only cause is absurd. There's no excuse why an 18-year-old should be able to buy a war machine. If he can't buy a beer, why is he able to buy an AR-15 assault rifle? And in Florida, apparently you can buy handguns at the age of 18. I didn't even know that. But Florida is notorious for their very lax laws on firearms in general. I mean, I used to live in Georgia. I knew if you went to Florida, you could get a gun license much easier, a handgun license much easier than if you went to somewhere in Georgia. And because Florida has wacky laws, if you go to Florida and get your gun license, it's valid in like any state just about. That could have changed since the last time I heard it, but that's my understanding. So yeah, this is what we've gone to, America. And if you don't, like David said, if we don't talk to our Congress members, if we do not demand change, kids are going to continue to die. And your thoughts and prayers aren't doing shit. It's time to take action.